Aloha, this is Dr. Martina, your online sex therapist and sex educator. Sexual fantasies is the topic today, and it's one of my favorite topics because the way we think about sex, what we fantasize about sex, can completely influence the quality of our sexual experiences. It's a powerful tool. But if you join the notion, like most people do, that that sexual fantasies is actually the black sheep of the family of sex, then if you believe that, then that notion will rob you from the benefits that sexual fantasies offer. So if you are committed to having better sex in 2023, please join me for this first Tuesday of the month series and learn about fun and hot facts about sexual fantasies. Let me address the black sheep reference about sexual fantasies. Fantasizing about something means forming a surprising, excessively high, but general understanding of something. When we fantasize, we imagine a scenario that includes our body, which means it includes our senses. To fantasize, we engage how we would feel, how it would taste, how it would smell, how it would sound, and how it would look like. So fantasizing is a fun thing to do. Now, when it comes to sexual fantasies, it should be a fun thing to do too, but we're usually alone with those fantasies because we don't share them, because social structure and opinions about what is acceptable sexual behavior does not include the beautifully creativity that we all have about our sexuality. So we don't share them because we know we're going to get judged for them. Now, it doesn't have to be that way. So what I'm hoping to do today is that by introducing you to 3 benefits of sexual fantasies, I hope to inspire you and for you to find courage and motivation to look at your fantasies, to accept them, and to decide which ones you want to live out and which one you want to experience, and to give you the courage to possibly share them with a current or future potential lover. So the first benefit is that sexual fantasies are a powerful arousal source. We experience our sexuality through our bodies, so the 5 arousal sources that we all have in accessibility to is our senses. Most people put both of their hands in the bucket of touch. We need touch to increase our arousal. Some people go a bit into audio, into sight, into smell, into taste. It is totally individual. But most of us go into the bucket, our 6th bucket of arousal source, and that is sexual fantasies. We spend a lot of time thinking our way through life, and so we also think our way through our activity of sex. So going into our brain to help us increase our arousal and think of past or future experiences that we perceive as sexually relevant, hot, and exciting is a logical process. So using sexuality, sexual fantasies as an arousal source is a tremendous tool that we all use, if we admit to it or not. During solo sex, it is very easy to go into that bucket and spend a lot of time in there because you're by yourself and you can think about whatever you want to think about, past or future experiences. I use a past experience to push me across the threshold of the point of no return, and it works every time. Now, when you have partner sex, there's just something you have to be aware of, that when you spend a lot of time in your mind and thinking about fantasies versus being present, then you will lose your contact or your connection with your partner. But going in there, if you need a little push and it'll help by increasing your arousal, going into the sexual fantasies and using that source for a short moment, there is nothing wrong with that. Just don't spend a lot of time in there. Get back to with who you're with. So the second benefit is that fantasies teach you about your sexual self. If you sit down and you write down your sexual fantasies, and then you read them to yourself. You look at the verbs and adjectives that you use. That will expose your sexual creativity. And because you're only going to write things down that are relevant to your arousal. And they're going to be fun for you. And if you don't talk about it, not even with yourself, how can you create fun and hot and exciting content for your next or for your future sexual experiences? So let your fantasies teach you about your sexual self. So the third benefit for sexual fantasies is the fact that it can increase your seduction skills and therefore your sexual confidence. But in order for that to happen, what you need to do is you need to put your sexual fantasies under the spotlight of sex positivity. And the way you do that is by talking honestly with your partner about your emotions around your sexual fantasies. If there's shame there, talk about the shame you have. If there's fear, and whatever it is, if your fantasies are not in a sex positive light, then they will not be creative, because then that will stunt the creativity, just like other people's judgments on your fantasies do. So have an honest conversation about it. And then once you've had that conversation, then you can create a scenario and you can sharpen up your seduction skills and outlive some of those fantasies. Now, if you struggle with putting your fantasies in a positive life, use the 15 minutes free consultation, give me a call or send me an email and we connect that way, and let me know what they are and I'll help you through it. So this brings me to the end of this video. Thank you very much for watching, and have fun finding out about your sexual fantasies.